Hey guys, it's Cass here again. Welcome to another video review. So today I'll be reviewing the SteelSeries S&S mousepad, gaming mousepad. So this is just the packaging, and here I've got the mousepad for you. So just a little history on this mousepad. It was actually termed the SteelPad S&S Solo. This was back like 4 or 5 years ago when SteelSeries still had their old logo. Back in the day, a lot of CS pros, FPS pros really used this mousepad. Because it's one of their favorite pads, and I'm really going to tell you why. So this is just their new logo, and they repackaged it as the SteelSeries S&S rather than the SteelPad S&S. So first of all, this is a hard pad, and I'm actually going to go into 4 different things. I'm going to be talking about the comfort, speed, control, and the size. So this is just going to be my template for mousepads in the future. First, I'm going to be moving on to the comfort of the mousepad. So the comfort of a mousepad, since this is a medium-sized mousepad and it is a hard mat, it's obviously not as comfortable as some of the soft mats out there or the cloth mats out there. However, being a hard mat, I think comfort-wise and with the size alongside it, it's comfortable enough for you to use it and not feel strain in your wrists. Like for example, I have my Death Adder here, and it just the texture of the pad itself really feels quite nice and does not really cause any discomfort in that sort of way. In terms of its speed, for this mouse pad, it's very quick. You can probably see in the pictures right here that it is quite grainy, and if you can hear the sound right here, it is very grainy. So it causes there to be less friction between your mouse feet and the mouse pad, causing it to be very quick. For example, I have my Death Adder Hurricane Edition, and it slides extremely quick. Well, obviously the Hurricane Edition slides quicker anyways, but it slides extremely quickly. And I have here my IE3, which I also attached 0.18 mm transparent mouse feet. It's very quick. Obviously it's softer in noise, but still extremely quick compared to other mouse pads. I think in terms of speed, a good comparison would actually be the SteelSeries SP. In terms of size, it's very similar, but in terms of speed, it's extremely similar as well, if you guys used it before. Because obviously the SP is quite grainy in itself, the speed is one of the quicker mousepads out there. I think it's even quicker than the Destructor, even though I don't have my Destructor out right now. So I'd recommend probably getting, I have my kids right here, I recommend getting a mouse feet, just normal mouse feet, don't get the Hurricane Edition. And the speed is quite quick. If you're not into too quick of a speed, don't get this mousepad. In terms of its control, one thing I would have to say is that when you have quicker speed, you obviously lose control. If you have a slower mousepad, you also gain more control. Why that is obviously because when you move the mousepad, when you move the mouse quickly, you can't control it. You can't stop and control it as well. But if you have a slower mousepad, you move it slower, you can stop it and control it better. So in terms of control, I don't think it really sacrifices on that part. It doesn't really sacrifice control. If I'm moving it quickly, even though it's a very quick mousepad, it stops quite fast. So, or you can control it quite fast in terms of it stopping. Some mousepads are actually not like that. I'd actually give an example. With the SP, it's actually hard to. For some reason it's quick, but it's actually hard to control. I feel at times if it's brand new. I think I've talked about this before. For SP that is very used up in the middle, where the friction actually starts getting more and more because it's worn down. I really like the friction in the middle for a used SP, but for a brand new SP, I don't like it. With the S&S, very similar. The control stop very quickly. So I definitely not recommend the Death Adder. I'm sorry, I wouldn't recommend the Death Adder Hurricane Edition or the Hurricane Editions for any of the mouse feet because it's extremely hard to control. And you can see this. Whee! Okay, that was fucking retarded. So you can tell it's very quick, but you lose control. But if you start controlling it tighter, it is better. Now in terms of its size. So just the comparison of the size, if you've seen the SP is exactly the same size as the SP. It's slightly different in terms of its edges, but it's pretty much exactly the same. Maybe I'll do a comparison like that. Yeah, you can see it's very similar. In terms of comparison with the 5L right here, you can see it's just as high, which I really like the height of it. The width is maybe 2 inches smaller. And compared to the SteelSeries QCK Heavy Edition, I actually had, see, this is the original SteelSeries logo, the Steel logo. Compared with the Heavy Edition, you can see it's quite a bit smaller, so it gives you a good sense of how much smaller this mousepad is. So you've got like a good 5 inches here, 6 inches here, another 5 inches, 6 inches over here, in terms of the width and the size. I think in conclusion, in general, just comparison for its worth, what it's worth. It costs about like £20 or $20, $30. I think $30 some places. It's quite rare, but for what it's worth, I actually really enjoy this mousepad. SteelSeries make really good hard mats as compared to Razer. I actually really dislike Razer hard pads. The structure was quite reasonable, but in general, I actually quite dislike it. But overall, for SteelSeries, this S&S, definitely a classic mousepad, and I absolutely love it. I can understand why people have been loving this mousepad for so long. Anyways, this is Takast here. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and visit my iTagTech.com and my eBay store. Thanks, guys.